It only takes one very good Facebook ad to turn an entire Facebook ads account around from terrible results to decent results where you can then start to scale. So in this video, I want to show you one of our real client accounts that we had some trouble with when we launched last month, how we actually turned the account around and got it to a point where they're now profitable. And I want to show you the exact ad that turned this account round for us and how I designed that ad on Canva. So to give you a quick background of this client, we started with them 1 month ago. The client is a hair care and beauty brand, and they're predominantly selling on Amazon. They do very well on Amazon. But last year they decided to incorporate Shopify and start to get their own customer data and start to make sales there as well. However, every time they've approached Facebook ads to try and get sales coming in, it's been unsuccessful. They've used a few different agencies. Nobody's got them above a 1 ROAS, which is massively unprofitable for them. They've also had a little bit of trouble with Meta, with account bans for various reasons, usually just errors on Meta's part, something that the algorithm that Meta uses to check ad accounts doesn't like about the Instagram shop, which has caused them to have a really high CPM, so they can never really get results going. So show you straight away inside their ad account the first campaign that we ran for them. So obviously we did the competitor research, the product research, all of that information that we need to actually build some ads that we think are going to be a good starting point to start to turn their account round, get the CPM down, start getting them sales, get them above that 1 ROAS. So the first 3 tests that we launched, again the same structure that I always use that I've mentioned in other videos, is that we'll do 3 tests, ad set, budget optimization, and 3 variations of each ad in those tests. So you can see here the 3 that we tested were UGC, 3 different UGC ads, which were all very good quality. Us versus them, image ads is usually a good place to start to get an account going because it's very bottom of funnel ad. Customers at this level are already product aware. So this product is a smoothing hairbrush. So we wanted to just compare this brand's product to other brands and obviously make this brand look better. It's usually good to cherry pick the bottom of funnel people who are ready to convert. And benefits ads. So all from product research and competitor research, that's what we decided on. We launched from the 15th of November to the 21st of November. So looking at the data in this account, you can see that we spent £423 on this initial 3-tiered test. And the first thing that you can notice is that the CPM is absolutely insane. So this is completely unworkable for this brand. If this CPM doesn't come down, there's no way they can ever be profitable with Meta ads. So quick note on what the CPM is, that is how much it costs you per 1,000 impressions. And that is the key metric that Meta dictates for your account, depending on lots of different reasons, such as the account trust score, which is a back-end score that Meta use, audience interaction, so how many people actually click on your ad and then go to the website and perform a conversion action like an add to cart or a purchase, and a load of other stuff, market saturation, competition, all of that. If you're seeing CPM this high in this industry, then it means one of those things is just not working. So it's either the ads Meta doesn't like and they're charging you a premium to show them because they don't want their users to have a bad experience, or it's the case that users who click on the ad are then leaving the website very quickly, which again feeds back to Meta, tells them this website and this company is not good for our users, so they'll charge you more to show them. Could be market saturation, any of that stuff. So we went through a big, long process in the early stage of analysing their account, analysing the industry that they're in, competition, all of that stuff. And still with our new launched ads, the CPM was incredibly high. So probably for this account, it was a combination of the website wasn't fully optimized, the actual account bans that they've had previously still give them a lower trust score from Meta, and it might also be the case that people just didn't want to buy the product. But because they're successful on Amazon, we knew that wasn't it. But again, first week that we ran, this is completely unworkable. You can see here that the outbound click-through rate is actually very, very good. So what that told us, which was again a little bit more confusing, is that the ads that we launched, people actually like them. So the average click-through rate on Meta ads is like under 1%. So seeing 3%, 2%, 3%, almost 4%, that's very good. That tells us that people who see the ad are quite likely to click on it, which is the start of generating sales, of course. But the fact that Meta is charging us £45 per 1,000 people means that you can see the actual impressions is very, very low for the ad spend. So the number of people who see the ad is tiny, which means that ultimately you're not going to get sales, which then trickles on to less people actually performing conversion actions, which reinforces to Meta that they should charge you a lot because people don't like this product, brand, website, etc. So it's a vicious cycle, and that whole CPM thing I'm talking about is called estimated action rates, and it's one of the main metrics that Meta use. They don't give it to you, but Meta use it to determine your CPM. So initial launch, all very bad in terms of CPM. Outbound click-through rate is really good. Cost per click is slightly too high. And then in terms of results, we got 4 sales for £105 per purchase, 0.48 ROAS, which is absolutely terrible. So there's a huge problem with this account in terms of the CPM. The ads actually look like they're performing sort of okay, but still this cost per purchase is just not workable, and we can't even go on and try and get this cost down because it's far too high, it's too unprofitable for the business. So we had to reevaluate the ads. Obviously we need ads that are going to perform exceptionally well so that we can start to get sales, which will then bring down the CPM. Hopefully when Meta starts seeing consistent sales, then they might bring down the CPM. So what we did is go back to the competitors, reevaluate, maybe we've got it wrong with the ad level, maybe there's a specific angle that we can access to get this very good performance, which will get us sales, which will bring down the CPM. So we went through looking at competitors, just to give you a general idea, looks something like this. And again, all of the competitors running similar products or the same product are utilizing UGC content. As you can see, the vast majority is UGC. But if we look at this client's ad account, by far the most expensive CPM that we got was from UGC. So £60 per 1,000 views is absolutely insane. So what we did to try and get around this, we know that we're going to have to lump it for a little bit and get bad results, but the sales will hopefully reinforce to Meta that this is a trustworthy account and it's a trustworthy website and people actually buy. So we needed to find a unique way to get into the market, avoid saturation, which it looked like UGC content, video ads was saturated for this market for us. So reanalyzing all of the competitor data, customer data, we went through things like Amazon, where you can see like this little summary of 20,000 reviews of a different product to get an idea. And the thing that stood out to us, also similar with the UGC ads, is that everything focuses on before and after. Because it's a hair brush and the whole point of it is to reduce frizz and make your hair smoother. All UGC, including the ones that we tested, were focusing on before and after. The other ads were benefits and us versus them, which also weren't successful. But all of the comments from the reviews that we got on the ads and all of the competitor reviews and comments, they all focus on the result. My hair's so much shinier, so much better now, so easy to use, blah, blah, blah. So what we decided to do is to use image ads and focus on before and after style, which with Meta is a little bit dodgy because sometimes they don't like before and after. But what we found that we can do is, if we look at this company, which is not a direct competitor because it's usually for children, but using stuff like this, swap this for this, but were they focused on swapping this brush for that brush, we thought it might be better just show the results. So we show frizzy hair and then we show smooth hair. The same way that the UGC did, but without using video, we used an image. So hopefully that'll get slightly lower CPMs. So we went ahead and did that. So you can see here, we relaunched us versus them benefits and UGC again, from the 25th of November to the 1st of November. And again, we got very high CPMs, unworkable CPMs. Weirdly, again, very high click-through rates. But we can see on this us versus them style that we tested, we actually started to get a reasonable CPM. And if we go to the results, you can see this one actually got 2 results with a 1.93 ROAS, but then it dropped off and no more results for like 3 or 4 days. So we had to turn that off as well. So after all of the research that we did and jumped back in, got into the comments, really got granular with it, we made new testing ads, which is this test here, brush test 2 BA, which is before after. So we launched that one on the 2nd of December. So we open the 2nd of December on this account. You can see here we launched this ad on this day. CPM still slightly high, but much lower than we were getting for UGC and the other stuff. Click-through rate still remained decent. And then in terms of results, we actually didn't get any results on the day that we launched. We go to the next day, we see we got one result with a 1 ROAS, £24 per purchase. But more importantly, CPM starting to creep up, which was the theme with their account. So again, we thought this is potentially not solved the problem. But we let it go another day, and then we see the CPM comes down again. And what happens here is we get 2 sales for £12.63 with a 1.83 ROAS. So what's happening now is this ad, which I'm going to show you in a minute, or I'll show you actually how I make the ad from scratch. So what's happening is this ad is now getting sales onto the website, which then feeds back to Meta to say that the estimated action rate is actually higher for this account and for this website and this brand, so we'll lower that CPM. As you can see here, the CPM on the 3rd day of this running is £23. If we then go to the 5th, the next day, it's dropped again to £21, and results, we actually got 2 results on that day, and the cost per result has dropped again. Now got 3.39 ROAS. So we're letting this ad run. Well, it's actually 3 ads, but only 1 worked, which I'll show you in a sec. But this ad is now getting consistent sales, which is reinforcing to Meta. This account's actually all right. We should give them less CPM. We want to show more customers this ad because they like it, they're clicking on it, and they're actually buying. So then following day, the 6th of December, we actually got no results. But if we go and look at CPM for this day, it's dropped again. So despite the fact that we got no results, that's perfectly acceptable when you're running small budget. So we're £16 a day, but the CPM has dropped again. And then moving into the next day, CPM dropped again. So we're now looking at £16 CPM for this account, whereas previous tests and all of the other agencies that have run ads for them have been getting £60 because they're all focusing on UGC. Again, click-through rate's really good, and sales-wise, we got 3 sales that day for £5.51. So this account is now starting to pick up. It's getting sales, CPM's dropping, and then I want to show you what the result of that CPM drop-in is for the rest of the account. So you can see from the previous tests, UGC was exceptionally expensive, but we now have a live UGC test. So I want to just show you the full data range for this entire campaign, this testing campaign, from the day that we launched it until December 29th. And we can see now we've got 58 purchases for this ad, which I'm going to show you in a minute. We've now got a test, which is a variation of the before and after ads, which have worked well. We're doubling down on what's working, giving Meta more of what works to keep reinforcing that this is a good business partner. And then very interestingly, we've retested UGC because the UGC content that we have for this brand is very, very, very good. So the fact that it was such high CPM, I think, was more related to the account issues and maybe website issues than it was the ads. So we've now relaunched UGC, and because we've now got 102 purchases on the account, Meta has now reduced the CPM. It's probably changed the trust score of the account in the background. And you can see now what the CPM is for UGC ads. It's now £17.88, which is far, far more reasonable and workable than where we started here with £42 CPM, or even on the previous campaign where it was like £60. So all of this CPM drop in 29, 43, 42, we're now looking at £14, £11, £17 CPM. All of that is because we got one ad to work and build up the account trust score, build up the estimated action rates, all of that stuff. So one good ad can turn around an entire account. So now I want to show you that exact ad. So after we did all of the competitor research and analysis, really dug into the UGC, and we decided that we want to go with before and after style ads, this is exactly how I made that ad. So this isn't going to be the exact because I can't use the brand, but it's going to be very, very, very similar. So you start with a blank page, you drop in your image. So we got an image very similar to this from the brand. of before and after. So this is exactly the focus of all the UGC that was performing well for competitors, and ours to be fair, but it's an image format. So it's very clearly showing frizzy hair and smooth hair. So the next thing that we want to do is show people that this is comparing one brush to another brush. So we need to go to Elements, type in brush, and just find a photo of a random hair brush. So let's say this one. And then you're going to remove the background, change the size, and just put this here for now. We'll rechange and move this around to make it look better later on. And unfortunately I can't show you the actual brush for this brand, so we'll find one that is maybe looks cooler that we can use to compare. So let's just say it's this one, which actually looks a bit rubbish, but whatever. But you can imagine this one is the actual brand's brush, and we're going to compare these two brushes. So put this one somewhere like here, this one somewhere like here. Okay, that'll do for demonstration purposes. So again, obviously the whole goal of this ad is to really zero in on the core result that customers will get from using this brush, which is smoother, shinier hair. So we want to compare this one with the scraggly, tangled hair, and this one with very smooth hair. So we've got a very good basis for the comparison before and after style ad. But of course we don't want to use the terms before and after because Meta can get a little bit touchy and the ad might get rejected. So we're going to drop some text in, maybe go with pop-ins, and I want this to be bold, and we're just going to say swap this. So we're not using before and after, we're using swap, which is not going to be a problem with Meta. And then we'll make this for this. So we want to get these fairly noticeable, so we want to change the size, 50.7. And then we want to position these in a decent way so they're noticeable, and it's one of the first things people are going to see when they look at the ad. People generally like to look at before and after, which this is, but just with different words. Give it a bit of space. So this is the start of the ad that we ran for this client, which turned around the entire account, reduced the CPM, and got them to a place where they're now ready to scale. This is the basis for it, so it's just simply swap this for this. The whole focus of the ad is the result, which target audience is going to relate to. Women who want to have smoother, nicer looking hair are going to relate to this image very quickly. We used a similar one to this. So showing this tangled hair versus the smooth, straight away they're going to look at it, massive big letters for swap this for this, and then obviously it highlights the fact that what we're talking about swapping is the brush for this brush. So straight away, at a glance, everybody knows what this ad is talking about. Then what we did was add in the product title, which was something along these lines. Okay, so then I'm going to change the color of the text to match the brand color for the brand. It's not actually this brand color, but something like that. And then I want to lift it a little bit with lift, just so it stands out a bit more off the grey background. So now we've got the ultimate detangle brush, and I might actually make that all caps. And then for the bottom of this section, so that's not a bad start for the ad. This is very similar to what the ad that we ran that turned the account looked like. But what I would also like to add in, which we did, is a little bit of social proof at the bottom. So we've got some featured in, which is here. So not exactly, but something along those lines. And then maybe put some shadow on these brushes just to lift them off the background a little bit. Drop shadow, and same for this one. I might actually make our brush a little bit bigger. Like so. Make this one also a little bit bigger. Like so. And then I might actually reduce the level of bold for these. Just change it to bold instead of extra bold. Okay, so something along those lines. And this is very, very similar to the ad that we ran, which turned this account round. So we've got the featured in, which is going to give a little bit of social proof on the bottom. Our target audience will be very familiar with those publications. We've got the name of the product. So the Ultimate Detangle Brush by, and then we actually put the logo of the business here, which obviously I can't do for this video, but just imagine there's a logo there. And then we've just got swap this for this, and it's the two brushes, so we're showing the us versus them style, but the focus is really on the actual picture here of the result that you're going to get from using this brush. And then of course we did a 9:16 version of this as well for stories and reels placements. But that is exactly, or not exactly, but very, very similar to the ad that we ran for this client, which has taken them from 40, 60 pound CPM down to 11, 14, 17. And they're now to the point where they are well over the 1 ROAS onto the 2 ROAS. If we look at, for example, yesterday, so you can get an idea of trajectory of where they're going. They did 11 purchases, 4.15 ROAS yesterday. So over the course of this campaign, things are now moving very much in the right direction, to the point where we can now retest things like UGC, which they have a lot of good content for, and actually get reasonable cost per 1,000 impressions and actually start to get results. Not yesterday, obviously, but in general, getting results from UGC now, which are not insane. They're not 0.4 ROAS. So I hope you found that insight useful. Just remember, when you're making ads and when you're testing, you might get bad results initially, but it only takes the one ad to actually turn an entire account round and start to scale. The more results that you get, the better your CPM is going to be with Meta, and then it snowballs. Just keep testing, keep trying new angles, really dig into competitors and your audience and all that stuff, and you will eventually get that ad which can turn an account around.